Hello, it's Rich Rosen, Fastcall founder and CEO, and we're going to talk for a few minutes about interactive voice response, also called IVR. So we're in the Fastcall application under admin settings, and then IVR, which is nested under call handling. And we have two different ways that we organize our IVRs. We have the not organized way, which are actions, and all the actions are individual pieces that fit together into an IVR. And if you have really just one simple IVR, that's fine. If you have lots of different IVRs, you may want to use flows. And what a flow does is it creates basically a holder for uh, different actions. The one difference is that you cannot reuse an action from one flow to another. So you'd have to create um, another action. So in this particular case, this is the Fastcall IVR that we use on our phone system. Tells you the phone number that's assigned to this IVR. And then these are all the individual flows. Now the individual actions, sorry, the actions themselves um, are not in order or laid out in a flow chart as sometimes IVRs are, and at some point we do plan on doing that. But they're pretty straightforward. Here in flows, there's a start action. So in our case, it's time-based routing, and then the time-based routing goes to um, a menu with a directory, and there's voicemails, and it's pretty straightforward. So I'm going to come back over to IVRs just to sort of show you. So that we add a new IVR here. So we start, when we're creating an IVR, we start by creating an action. And the actions include a directory, a transfer, a menu, a voicemail, time-based routing, and just playing a message. Um, these are all pretty self-explanatory. The only bit that I would say is that for some of these, like voicemail and any individual action that requires a recorded message, you probably want to record the message first. So I often say with IVRs, we start at the bottom and we work up. So um, we could record our messages first that are being used in the IVR, and these are either voicemails or the greetings in the IVR. And if we are transferring calls to groups, we would create the group. Group is here. Groups have, this is a group that we use, groups have users. This group is also used for our directory. So any users in the group can be used for the directory. So you may want to create your group and create your recorded message first, and then you come over to the IVR and we say add a new. Um, we really like time of day first for two reasons. When someone calls after hours, there's no reason to keep the call on hold. The call would go right to either a voicemail or a transfer out to maybe your call center if you're using that. This also controls reporting for missed calls. So if a call comes in after hours, um, we'll report it as after hours versus a missed call. Um, the rest of the options here are pretty straightforward. I'm going to go into the call transfer. I click next, and you'll see here all of the actions can be named. Many have the option for an introductory audio message. So this one is a transfer. The message may say, please hold and we'll transfer you, or we'll transfer to the sales team or the service team. These are the transfer messages here. Sometimes these messages have to logistically be put kind of where they belong. So there might be an introductory greeting before this, and then the transfer says, okay, please hold on, we'll transfer you, and then the scope. Calls can be transferred to groups, which we talked about a second ago, to users, to the Salesforce record owner, and this does need to be a user, cannot be a queue, um, or a fixed phone number like a call center. So let's just say it's a group. We'll come here, we'll say it's the sales team, and then we have an ACD, it's automatic call distribution. We have round robin. Round robin goes in a circle to each user in that group. If the user is available, it connects. If the user is not available, it goes to the next user or goes to what we say is a no answer IVR, which is often voicemail. Um, or the no answer IVR could be another IVR, so you can go from one group to the next. So round robin is great for just sort of basic call routing, goes in a circle. We do support simul ring, which would ring each user in parallel. First to answer gets the call. The queue is we still have a beta tag here. Actually, I think in the next update, it'll probably be removed. The queue is a little bit more of a sophisticated uh, routing, and we have a separate video on this. Um, but it's really helpful because there's waiting audio. So again, there's an audio message here. You can read the position in the queue. In this case, it is text to speech. Um, there is the option to press out of that waiting queue. So you can press 0 to go into another IVR or again, the voicemail. The no answer IVR is always what happens when this IVR completes. That's usually voicemail. Sometimes it could be another IVR, could be another group, could be another transfer. Um, so this is how these are set up. They're really easy to set up now. Okay, so the IVR is all set up. Up, 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 up. We did it. Took a couple of minutes. Once the IVR is set up, you come over and you go to your phone numbers and you're assigning the IVR to the phone numbers. It doesn't work the other way around. You're not assigning a phone number to an IVR. You're assigning an IVR to a phone number. So let's see here. Um, this phone is probably good. So here's a phone. We just actually provisioned this a few days ago. I can, of course, name the phone number. I can type in any notes that I need to. We have the option for a ringtone. The tells us if there's any regulatory requirements for the address, capabilities, voice and SMS. Great, great, great. We just recently actually added these details, so we're now giving you some more address information. This all comes from Twilio. Um, and then the inbound routing. So the inbound routing here, if you are routing a phone number only to a user, which is what we have here, we set that under caller ID settings. This just basically means that Andre both will receive the inbound call and be able to use this number as caller ID. If we are using an IVR, you just assign it here. So the IVR that we created um, earlier, which I think actually was the Fastcall IVR. So there it is, right? And now this phone number will follow these. So when someone calls this phone number, it's going to follow these IVR instructions. Caller ID is also here and set separately. So right now, the way we have this is this caller ID would still only be available for Andre, but I could assign this caller ID to sales, and then everyone in the sales group can have access to it. Now, one little catch here, because we just get an error, SMS needs to have an owner. So even though I'll make this visible, even though the phone number is available to all these users in a group, it will follow this IVR. The SMS right now has a default owner. We're not yet distributing SMS the way we do phone calls in the ACD, but we will at some point. Okay, so hopefully this is helpful. Shoot us any questions, info at fastcall.com, and we look forward to your feedback.